The moment I walked through the door, the smell of garlic and oregano hit me, and there she was, Anna, looking stunning as always. We were celebrating our 2-year anniversary at our favorite Italian spot, the one with the checkered tablecloths and candles that seemed to hold our dreams within their flickering lights. To us, she toasted, her smile reaching her eyes, the same smile that convinced me to propose on that beach 2 years ago. Little did I know, that smile would soon be my undoing. The weekend barbecue with Tom and Lily felt like a scene from one of those movies where everything is perfect before the storm hits. You two are the dream, Lily said, raising her glass. I believed it too, caught up in the mirage of our perfect match and the family we planned to start. That dream was as intoxicating as the summer air, filled with laughter and the smell of grilled burgers. I wanted to keep the magic alive, so I planned a surprise getaway to the beach where I proposed. Watching Anna's face light up as I unveiled the surprise felt like winning the lottery. I captured every moment with my new drone, flying it over us as we danced on the beach, the sunset painting the sky in shades of our love. Or so I thought. Anna's surprise birthday party for me was nothing short of spectacular. She had thought of everything, from inviting all our friends and colleagues to the heartfelt speech she gave about our journey together. I felt like the luckiest man alive, completely oblivious to the storm brewing on the horizon. Volunteering at the local animal shelter on Saturdays became our thing. It was our way of giving back, bonding over our shared love for animals and our community. These moments solidified our connection, or at least, that's what I believed. But then, everything changed. I stumbled upon those text messages from Raj on Anna's phone. My heart sank as I read each message, a mix of flirtation and intimate jokes that no, just friends, would share. How could she? When I confronted her, her reaction was a cocktail of dismissal and assurance. Mike, you're being paranoid, she said, her voice steady, her eyes avoiding mine. Raj is just a friend from work. We're working on a stressful project together, that's all. But the seed of doubt was planted, watered by her words that aimed to soothe but only fueled my suspicion. Trust her? After what I saw, that was the beginning of the end, the start of a descent into a reality where love was overshadowed by betrayal, and trust became a casualty in a war one never signed up for. The moment I saw them together, everything inside me turned to ice. There was Anna, the woman I had shared my dreams with, leaning in a little too close to Raj, laughing at something he said, in a way that was meant for me. That secluded restaurant, their intimate body language, it was like a punch to the gut, confirming my worst fears without a single word being spoken. I needed someone to talk to, someone who would understand. Tom was my go-to, the guy who had been there through thick and thin. I followed her. Tom, I blurted out the moment he answered the phone, my voice a mixture of anger and disbelief. She was with him, and it didn't look good. Tom's silence on the other end was filled with a heavy understanding. What are you going to do now, Mike? He finally asked, his question hanging in the air between us like a challenge. I knew I couldn't just let it go. Not this. So, I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a private investigator. The photos he provided were the nails in the coffin of our marriage. There was no denying the truth in those images, no room for the benefit of the doubt. Confrontation was inevitable. I laid the photos out in front of Anna, watching as her face crumbled under the weight of her actions. It was a mistake, she sobbed, her pleas for forgiveness echoing off the walls of our now shattered home. But how could I forgive something that felt unforgivable? I moved out the next day, seeking refuge in Tom's spare room. Each morning brought a new barrage of texts and emails from Anna, each one a desperate plea for reconciliation. But how could we reconcile when every word from her felt like another lie? The decision to file for divorce came as a relief, in a way. It was the first step towards reclaiming my life, even as it meant dismantling the life we had built together. Dividing our assets, our friends, it was messy and painful, but necessary. As I navigated the paperwork and the heartbreak, I realized this was more than just the end of a marriage. It was about finding out who I was without Anna, about building something new from the wreckage of betrayal. And maybe, just maybe, finding a way to trust again. The day I decided to adopt a dog from the local shelter was the day I felt a shift inside me. There was something about looking into the eyes of a creature that offered nothing but unconditional love, something that made the weight on my shoulders feel a tad lighter. I named him Max, and with every wag of his tail, I found a piece of the peace I'd been desperately searching for since everything with Anna fell apart. Meanwhile, Anna's life seemed to be on a downward spiral. Through the grapevine of mutual friends, those awkward, pity-filled updates you wish you didn't crave, I heard about her struggles at work. A critical mistake had led to a demotion, a tangible consequence of the turmoil she was experiencing. Part of me felt vindicated, another part pitied her. It was a complex cocktail of emotions, knowing she was paying for her mistakes in more ways than one. Then came the call that would change everything. Anna wanted to meet, one last time, at the beach where it all began. The place where I had asked her to spend her life with me, now the backdrop for what felt like an epilogue to our story. Standing there, with the waves crashing and the seagulls crying overhead, I watched as Anna approached. She looked different, smaller, somehow, as if the weight of her decisions had physically altered her. She spoke of neglect, of finding solace in someone who was facing his own marital demons. Raj was just a symptom of a larger problem, she said. But as she poured out her regrets and pleaded for forgiveness, all I could hear was the sound of the ocean, indifferent and relentless. I can't, Anna, I finally said, after what felt like an eternity of silence. What we had. It's broken beyond repair. Some actions are unforgivable. The finality in my own voice surprised me, but it was the truth. Our paths had irrevocably diverged, and no amount of apologies could bridge the chasm between us. As I walked away, leaving Anna standing alone on the beach, the mixture of relief and sorrow was overwhelming. Max's eager face greeted me as I got back to my car, a reminder that life, despite its trials, still had moments of pure, uncomplicated joy waiting for me. It was time to move forward, one step at a time, with the loyal companion who had become my anchor in a sea of chaos. Walking away from that beach, the place where our dreams once danced in the sunset, I felt a twisted cocktail of liberation and loss. The sand, once a witness to our promises, now bore the weight of our final goodbye. It was a strange sensation, stepping away from the wreckage of what my life had been, a mix of freedom and an unmistakable void where our shared dreams used to live. Anna was a shrinking figure in the distance, her silhouette blending with the fading daylight. Knowing the depth of her regret didn't make it any easier. It just added a layer of sadness to the whole mess. The end had come, not with a bang, but with the soft, mournful whispers of the ocean. In the weeks that followed, I threw myself into anything and everything that could distract me from the echo of Anna's apologies and the memory of her betrayal. New hobbies, social outings, late nights at the office. I was a man on a mission to outrun my own heartache. Yet, every new activity, every forced smile, felt like putting a band-aid on a wound too deep to heal quickly. Anna, on her part, sought redemption in therapy sessions and old friendships. But from what I heard, the ghost of what happened haunted her steps, a constant reminder of the love she gambled away. It was a small town. News travels fast, especially news laced with scandal and heartbreak. My friends became my anchor, rallying around me with a kind of brotherhood solidarity that was both comforting and suffocating. They tried, with every beer shared and every game night organized, to fill the void Anna left behind. But in the quiet moments, when the laughter died down, and I was left alone with my thoughts, the solitude was my only true companion, a silent witness to the battle raging within. Then came the inevitable, the party where our worlds collided once more. Seeing Anna across the room was like reopening a book I had desperately tried to close. The air thickened, heavy with unspoken words and unresolved emotions. We orbited each other carefully, maintaining a distance that was both a balm and a reminder of the chasm that had opened between us. Attempting to step back into the dating scene felt like navigating a minefield blindfolded. Each new date was a stark reminder of how much trust I had lost, how deeply Anna's betrayal had carved its mark into my ability to open up to someone new. Laughter felt forced, conversations superficial. The ghost of my failed marriage loomed over every interaction, a specter of distrust and caution. In this new chapter of my life, every step forward was a battle, a constant struggle between the desire to move on and the chains of the past. The journey was far from over, but with each passing day, I gathered the pieces of myself, determined to rebuild a life that, though forever changed, could still hold the promise of something new. The day I found out Anna was finally moving on hit me like a freight train. It wasn't the sharp sting of betrayal anymore. It was a dull, aching realization that the chapter of us was truly closing. She was moving to a new city, leaving behind the wreckage of what we once had. Part of me felt relieved, knowing she was seeking her own path to redemption, yet a wave of sorrow crashed over me, knowing I was the ghost she was trying to outrun. My own life, in contrast, was taking a turn for the better, at least on the surface. The promotion at work was a milestone, a tangible result of burying myself in projects and deadlines to numb the emptiness. But when the applause faded, and the office lights dimmed, the victory felt hollow. There was no one waiting at home to share in the triumph, no Anna to smile and say, "I knew you could do it." The day Anna packed up her life into boxes, she stumbled upon the drone we used at the beach where I thought our future was as limitless as the horizon. Holding it in her hands, she was transported back to those moments of unbridled joy, a stark contrast to the solitude that now embraced her. That drone, a silent witness to our love, was now just another artifact of our shared history, a history she was desperately trying to put behind her. In my own way, I sought solace in companionship that asked for no explanations, no forgiveness. Adopting another dog brought a sense of purpose back into my life, a reason to come home, to care, and to feel needed again. They were my silent confidants, their wagging tails and wet noses a balm to the loneliness that lingered in Anna's absence. The day Tom handed me Anna's letter, my heart seized. Her handwriting, once so familiar, now felt like a message from a stranger. Tom looked at me, torn between loyalty and concern, but I had made up my mind. Tossing the letter into the trash unopened, I realized it wasn't out of anger or spite. It was a declaration of self-preservation. I needed to move forward, even if that meant leaving pieces of my past, pieces of her, behind. Anna's attempt to bridge the gulf between us with words left unread was her final goodbye, a closure she needed but I couldn't face. In that moment, with the letter discarded and my future uncertain, I understood that healing wasn't just about forgetting or forgiving. It was about choosing oneself over the past, about finding new reasons to wake up each day and face the world, scars and all. As I watched my dogs play in the fading sunlight, their joy unburdened by the complexities of human emotions, I realized this was my new beginning. A life built not on the ruins of what was lost, but on the possibilities of what was yet to come. The moment Anna stepped into her new life, in a city where no one knew her story or the mistakes she carried, she found a sliver of hope. Throwing herself into her work and finding solace in volunteer efforts, she sought redemption in the eyes of strangers, in the small acts of kindness that helped stitch the fabric of her new reality together. Meanwhile, the news of Anna's move reached me through the grapevine of mutual friends, stirring a complicated brew of emotions. Relief was the most prominent, mingled with a faint hope that, apart from each other, we could both find the peace that eluded us together. It was a strange comfort, knowing we were both seeking new horizons, even if miles and silence stretched between us. A year spiraled by in a blur of routines and small victories. My life settled into a comfortable pattern with my dogs, work, and a close-knit circle of friends who had seen me through my darkest days. Gradually, the sharp edges of betrayal softened, making room for a cautious optimism. Maybe love wasn't off the table for me after all, just waiting for me to be ready to reach for it again. Anna, on her part, was carving out a place for herself in a community that knew her not for her past but for the contributions she made. She threw herself into projects that mattered, building bridges where once there were only walls. It was in these moments of giving back, of forging new connections based on honesty and integrity, that she found a measure of peace. One quiet evening, as I sat with a glass of whiskey, the soft hum of the city outside my window, I allowed myself a moment of reflection. The journey from the man I was to the man I am had been fraught with pain, betrayal, and loss. Yet, it was also lined with growth, resilience, and an unexpected strength. I had walked through fire and emerged not unscathed, but undeniably transformed. Anna found her own kind of salvation in the companionship of animals at a local shelter, where judgment was replaced by unconditional acceptance. It was a stark contrast to the scrutiny she had faced from those who once claimed to be her friends. In the quiet moments spent caring for creatures who asked for nothing but love, she found a reflection of the person she aspired to be, one defined by her actions in the present, not the shadows of her past. Inspired by the tumultuous events that reshaped my life, I took a leap of faith and started a small tech startup with a friend. It was a venture born out of passion, a chance to rebuild from the ground up, to create something meaningful in the wreckage of what was. This new direction wasn't just about professional success, it was a testament to the power of starting anew, of finding purpose in the ashes of old dreams. As our paths diverged, Anna and I, in our separate worlds, were building lives that no longer orbited each other. Yet, in the silent acknowledgement of our shared history, there was a tacit understanding that, despite everything, we were both moving forward. In the end, perhaps that was the closure we never had, the knowledge that out of the chaos and heartbreak, we each found our way to a new dawn. The moment I stepped onto that familiar beach, a rush of memories flooded in, each wave crashing against the shore echoing the laughter and promises once shared here with Anna. It was here, amidst the salty air and the endless horizon, that I found myself grappling with the weight of the past and the lightness of the present. My dogs, loyal companions through the thick of it, raced along the water's edge, a sight that brought a genuine smile to my face after what felt like an eternity. Anna, in her new life, couldn't help but wander into the digital remnants of ours. Scrolling through my social media was a habit born out of longing and regret, a window into the life she once shared, now observed from the outside looking in. Each post, each image, was a stark reminder of the cost of her choices. Despite the strides I'd made, returning to this beach was a testament to the journey of healing. It wasn't about forgetting but accepting and letting go. With a deep breath, I scribbled a message, a farewell to the pain and the love lost, sealing it in a bottle and watching as it was swallowed by the vastness of the ocean. It was a symbolic release, a surrender to the currents of life that carry us to unknown shores. Anna's professional achievements, a promotion hard-earned and well-deserved, were tinged with the solitude of success unshared. The recognition was a milestone, yet it underscored the solitude of her journey, a path chosen and walked with the burden of her mistakes. In this reflective state, she came to a quiet acceptance of her transformation, a recognition of the scars that marked her growth. It was a commitment to a future forged from the lessons of her past, a promise to herself to seek love and connection with honesty and integrity. Meanwhile, my venture, a leap of faith born from the ashes of my old life, began to flourish. It was a tangible manifestation of resilience, a bridge to a future unimagined in the depths of my despair. The startup was more than a business. It was a testament to the power of channeling loss into creation, of building anew from the rubble of the past. And as fate would have it, my professional journey led me to Anna's new city for a conference. The irony of our paths nearly crossing again, in a city that was a stranger to our shared history, was not lost on me. It underscored the unpredictable nature of life's journey, the intricate web of choices and chances that define our paths. In that moment, as I navigated the streets of her city, the realization dawned on me that our stories, though divergent, were forever entwined by the memories of what was. It was a poignant reminder of the smallness of the world, of the serendipity that threads through our lives, connecting and separating us in ways we can scarcely imagine. This chapter of our lives, marked by pain, growth, and eventual acceptance, was a testament to the resilience of the human heart, to the capacity to heal and hope in the face of loss. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of closure and new beginnings, I knew that though our paths might never cross again, the journey we shared would forever be a part of the fabric of who we had become.